Hi, everyone. Welcome to MustardHub Voices from the Frontlines. Here's where we talk with leaders who roll up their sleeves and work side by side with their teams. From healthcare to hospitality, retail to the trades, we're diving into real stories and real strategies from the people who make it happen every day. And today, I am so happy. This is our first episode of MustardHub from the Frontlines. And I am here with Ruthann Peace Brown. She is one of my favorite people. She is a Primrose School franchise owner who owns a few schools in Ohio and does a lot of really cool stuff. So welcome, Ruthann. If you could hop right in and tell us about yourself, tell us about your business, give us the scoop.
I'd love to. Thank you, Julie. Hi, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm super, I don't know how to say it, just so touched that you picked me to be first. Thank you. That's so sweet and so kind. Yes, I'm a Primrose franchise owner in the Cincinnati market in Ohio. I joined Primrose in 2015. And so it's been 10 years. We made it through COVID, which was hard for everyone, I'm sure. Yeah. And in 2023, I started doing some consulting work and started RPB Consulting. And since then have started writing my book, which will come out next year. So it's exciting.
That is really exciting. And I'm very excited for you to be a published author. Like, it's such a fulfilling journey. And, it's also a really good part of even self-discovery, and you get to learn more about yourself in the process. So it's all really exciting. I think it's exciting like 20 times over. I'm just really happy you're here.
Oh, me too. It is. And honestly, in the process of researching for the book and things that I really wanted to talk about with franchise owners and business owners and just even everyday individuals and young people and our employees, and just being happy in general is for everyone. And that's what it's about, is about finding happiness, not only in the workplace, but in your everyday life, because that's what we're here for, right?
No, exactly.
Why I love MustardHub. I mean, I think I beat down Curtis to get involved far before he was ready.
Well, it's one of our slogans is talking about, trying to be, you want to be a destination for workplace happiness, and someone who, you're kind of this bastion of love and light and happiness and enthusiasm. So, it makes sense that it's not only just about workplace happiness. It's just like in general, like what the heck else are we doing here?
Right. I mean, if it's not fun, I don't really want to participate. And I feel like most people feel that way. It's why I became a teacher. I didn't like school. School wasn't fun. So I was going to be a teacher to make school fun. And it was. We had a great time in my classroom. And so it transitioned into that when I became a franchise owner, was that work's not fun. Let's make it fun. And my employees, I tell them all the time, I want you to come to work and want to be here and be happy. And I'm going to celebrate you if you do something else with your life. But if you're coming in every day with a smile, we're winning and you're winning.
Yeah. I mean, so what made you decide to transition, from teaching to like owning a business? What made you decide to be like, I am going in with this and going full entrepreneur?
Yeah. I will tell you that some of my teacher friends were like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Like, why? We get summers off. Like, why? Why would you do that? I come from an entrepreneurial family. So I come from an entrepreneurial background and family. And so with that, the fear of jumping or leaping isn't as strong in me.
Yeah.
So that was easy. But going from teaching to a small business was kind of, I always knew that I was going to be in administration. I just didn't know if it was going to be in public school or on my own. Yeah. And when I realized that I could selfishly make more money working for myself, I went that route. And I was very, very lucky to have people that believed in myself and my vision and the franchise that I chose to be a part of to back that, because I was a teacher. So I financially couldn't afford to do any of that myself.
Yeah.
So you have to get creative in these spaces and be able to ebb and flow and flex and all of those things. And being flexible is the reason that we survived COVID. It's the reason that corporate asked me to speak to 500 plus schools about best practices for retention of staff during COVID. It's because those things matter. And, it's honestly selfish. It costs me less time and money to keep people than it does to have turnover.
No, 1,000%. And I really appreciate that, as you've been taking these learnings from your experience as a Primrose owner to your consulting practice as well, because these are, before working with MustardHub, I came from the agency space in marketing. And, you learn all these things as you're running your business. And some of these you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a genius. And then other times you're like, oh my God, that was so dumb. And you're like, and everyone else is about to do the same thing. So being able to have that perspective to be like, okay, well, let's guide you in the right direction. And like, I'm always thinking like, oh dear God, if you do not need to make this mistake too, like, let's get there. So, I admire that you're, kind of sharing the wealth a little bit when it comes to your knowledge and experience and, what you've built up there.
It feels very much like parenting. And I think that's probably why teaching, parenting, they kind of are so similar in the sense that, I've reached an age and a maturity in my ownership where I'm in that middle ground, right? I'm not brand new, but I'm also not stuck in my ways. And we say, if you're not willing to grow, it's time to go. Because it's time to rest. If you're not growing, it means you're in a season of rest. It's time to relax. It's time to appreciate the things that you've contributed and sit back and watch as the next round of people cultivate. Right. And that's something that we see all across our country of people who are afraid to let go because they've lived in these careers. And so then you have people under them who are ticked because they're ready to shine. They're ready to show what they can do and change the world, and in all of the ways that they've been ready to do it, and technology and all of the things, and people aren't letting off. Right.
Yeah.
So all of this is my jam, right? Yeah. Like teaching, and because we have in my family, we call it love and launch. In my classroom, it's love and logic. But it's that we're preparing individuals to, like you said, not make the same mistakes we made. And so if I'm in this middle zone where I'm not stuck in my ways, but I'm not green, don't make it so hard on yourself. You don't have to. Let me tell you what I've already done and screwed up that's still technologically valid to you. And then also teach me how to not get stuck in my ways and also relax and let go and be ready to, actually enjoy myself, because everybody before me said, you have to clock in and clock out till you die. And I don't want to. None of us do. I don't think anybody in my age group and lower, we don't want to. Right? So we have to learn how to let go of what generations told us for years. You have to do this until you're 65, until you're 70. Now they're saying till you're 70. Wrong. None of us want to do that. So let's find ways to utilize who we have, because it'll cost us less time and money to do it, and we'll all be happier for it.
1,000%.
I don't know about you, but I want to see a beach before I'm 65.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
No, exactly. Right. I'm like, I'm tired already. I don't want to keep going that long.
I'm already tired. Okay. And I don't know one mom or dad or millennial in general who's not tired. We're all tired. Okay, we've lived through every promise of an apocalypse known to man, and they don't ever happen. And we're like, yeah, right, we'll still be at work on Monday, because what's today? Monday. And where am I? At work. Right? Tell me there's aliens. That's fine. I'll still be at work on Monday. But I want to clock out and go on my PTO and not be bothered while there's aliens. I don't care. Let me see Area 51 on my own PTO time without an email. Prepare the others.
Yeah. No, it's true. There has to be balance, period. Like, we can't be on all the time. And then two, like, I mean, there are some people who live to work. Most of us don't. We're working to live. We hopefully are working with things that we are passionate about and we enjoy and we care about. But, there's a time to maybe, have that turn into a hobby or visit the beach and spend more time there than you do behind your desk or behind a counter or,
Well, and there are people, look, there are some jobs where you have to be on 24/7. Look, Mr. Lighthouse Keeper, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you work and live there. You are on 24/7, but I'm guessing you love that life. I'm guessing you signed up for that life. You wanted that. I don't want to be on 24/7. So our society requires people who love to work and who live that life and they're thrilled about it. I'm grateful for that because our ecosystem needs the balance.
Yeah.
But I'm not that person and I want to be equally loved for not being that person.
Yeah, no, that is so fair. So, as you are not being that person then, in your terms of like with your schools, what does your role look like now in those businesses? Like, how often are you, in the trenches with the kiddos?
Yeah. So it looks very different during the summer than it does during the school year, just because of my personal life with my kids. But if I were talking about maybe this year versus last year, it's very different. And it's very different because I've learned that the best way to lead is through delegation. And let's be honest, teachers, as in many professions, we're type A. We like to control our little environments, right? This is my little environment that I get to say how things go, and these are the rules of my classroom, and I get to dictate how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And all of us, our favorite teachers, were the ones who allowed us to be part of the rulemaking process.
Yeah.
And so that for me is everything, right? That's how I ebb and flow, is by getting to pull my staff, my people, everybody into the decision-making process. And that's kind of how this works for our schools. That's how the system works for us is, we picked a system, but they're picking the reward. They're right. So it's kind of like when I tell my kids, you have to shower, but do you want to shower tonight or do you want to shower right now? You have to do it. It's not a choice, but I give them perceived power, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of what this is I'm not giving up the power of the owner, even though I'm not there like harping on everyone. And I don't want to say harping because that sounds awful, but honestly, the micromanaging that comes very easily, because let's be honest, this is my business. This is my livelihood. This is my family's livelihood. We are in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so letting go for most people is like the kiss of death in their mind. So I've surrounded myself with people who are strong where I'm not, and others that are strong where I am to be me when I'm not there. And then the ones who are, who have talents where I lack, they are able to shine the light on things. And because in the grand scheme of things, I'm a visionary. I love ideas and I can see the big picture and I can fix a big problem, but I don't want to be in the weeds. I don't want to stand in line at Kroger for 3 hours to get gift cards for Christmas. I love all of my people so much, but my time is so valuable, right? So all of these things kind of, I feel like I've gone on a tangent now,
Oh no.
but really are the reason why we're here, you know?
Yeah. I think you've touched on so many things that are so important. And I think one of the big ones is, while we think of being, again, title of the episode, like the series from the front lines, a lot of times people think, well, I'm the business owner and so I'm going to be in it and I got to do the things and I have my hands on all the pies. But the reality is you're just not going to be that effective if you are really trying to be in everywhere. Like you really have to realize where your time is best spent, what your strengths are, and then who you have on your team who can best handle these things so that you can
Yeah.
actually be the most effective in growing your business and supporting your people and creating this kind of environment that where people can be happy because you know if you are managing multiple schools, you are running this consulting practice, you can't be in line at Kroger. Can you imagine how frustrating it would be for the people who work with you if they're like, oh my gosh, there's an emergency. And you're like, oh, sorry, I'm like 7 people deep because, these Starbucks cards won't
I had
load.
to get the gift cards. Yeah, sorry, I had to get the gift cards. And, the guy told me he wasn't sure I could count to 75.
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly.
you know what I mean? And then you run into just people in life, right? And this guy's not doing any harm. He's just asking a question, but when you're already frustrated, because this comes from real life events. I mean, I really stood at Kroger for 3 hours for Christmas gift cards. So you have somebody telling you that, are you sure you got 75? Sir, I taught first grade and we counted to 100
I got
every day.
this.
I got counting to 75, I promise, right? But he's
Yeah.
just doing his job. So you get those normal frustrations of life in there too. And I will tell you, I mean, that I had to part ways with a business partner last year. And my children have told me, they're like, Mom, we're tired of seeing the top of your head on your computer. We
Yeah.
miss you. And, I I love what I do. And people probably would have said, oh, Ruthann doesn't have work-life balance. And until the last year, I wouldn't have agreed with them. And my children wouldn't have either. They would have said,
Yeah.
yeah, we go to events for the schools, but mommy's present at my stuff and she watches movies with us and all the things until this last year. And it really took everything and it took every tool to keep the culture that I had built when I came on, but to keep that, even though we lost a very integral part of our group. And then Mustard Hub was a huge part of that because we were moving in a wave of younger individuals. And we have restructured our management program to now where I'm touching very high level things. And I took my son to his ambassador training today at school. And that's not something I could have done before. It would have been my husband would have had to drop him. It would have been a tag team. And now, being able to trust others with things. See, that's, a thing I had to let go.
Yeah.
And say, you can do this. And I hired you to do it.
Yeah.
See, why am I paying somebody to do something if I'm going to do it? Why wouldn't I fire them, pay myself if I'm going to do the work anyway and miss out with my family? Or I could let the people that I've hired to do their job, one of which has a doctorate, who is, on paper more intelligent than me. And why wouldn't I let her do her job?
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
right? Like, yes, Dr. Shannon Reeves, here's your shout out. You can do it all. And I trust her implicitly. She is capable, competent, and caring. Of course, she's going to make the right choices. And if I didn't hire somebody who could, then I need to let them go and find someone who can, because I can't do it all. No one can.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this helps us realize is the more you kind of lean into this life, you're like, I kind of felt wrong. Like, I really feel like this, it's like this trend, like, is this illegal? Like,
Yeah.
like, I feel like it's wrong that I should be enjoying work like this.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. And what we're going to shift a little bit and talk about people problems. But one, as an entrepreneur, yeah, it almost feels wrong as you start to be able to actually establish work-life balance because, one of the things too, there's also so many generational approaches to this. And I think there's certain folks that feel a certain way. And I think, I don't like to lump generations together, but, there is that kind of especially elder millennial urge where it's like we've seen so much of from our boomer parents and we've seen so much from the Gen Xers that we probably are older, our younger older relatives that we probably grew up admiring or are married to. There you go. I had one of those once as well. And as you're like, okay, well, it's like you gotta work hard, you do things. And it's like, well, no, like again, that live to work or work to live. I personally am a fond of, working, working to live.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to think too. And I think this sometimes gets lost depending on the industry. Like your employees want to do that too. And I think sometimes, I don't know, I feel like there's certain work environments that are more flexible. If you're behind a desk, you're able to have like things like possibly unlimited PTO or Fridays off or whatever that's going to be. But in a lot of businesses, you have these undesked employees that it's like, no, like you're with kids. You can't just not, we can't take we can't say, oh, we just take Fridays
Everybody
off because
Friday off.
yeah, then you'll just have a bunch of like children like standing outside of these locked doors and a lot of really pissed off parents,
Yes.
So it just doesn't work like that. But of course, these people, your employees need work-life balance too. And there's things that they want. So I guess two parts. First part is in terms of work-life balance, do you think that employers, one, are getting it, particularly around when it comes to these different generations and like what the heck it is people want? And then two, any tips and tricks or like how like people like if maybe reframe the conversation to be like, okay, business owner to business owner.
Yeah.
Let's fix this.
Absolutely. And this is kind of some of the things that we talk about in my book. So I am super excited to talk about all of this. One of the things in education, and if any of us think back to our favorite teacher, why were they our favorite teacher? Was it the subject that they were teaching, or was it the way that they engaged us? Right? It's the engagement piece. So if I walk into work and no one ever says hello, no one ever says good morning, no one ever asks about my day, nothing. There's no engagement of any kind, right? That can work for some people. Some people are fine with that. But if I work in an environment where I'm walking past other people, and especially myself, like I'm a social person, that's going to feel like I'm not welcome. It's not right. That's not going to feel great.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things that people honestly, where they go wrong is they overthink it. Okay. Teachers, when I was teaching in public school, do you know how happy we were to have a jean day? To wear jeans to work. To wear jeans. That's what we wanted. We wanted less days where we had to dress up. Do you know how incredibly excited my staff is to wear open-toed shoes in the office? In the office. Now, it's not in the classrooms. They're not allowed to do that because they have to protect their toes. And I've told all of the girls, I'm like, I might have to have you sign a waiver for each Tootsie so that I don't get in trouble that your toes aren't covered, right? But either way, they're like, awesome. We can't wear shorts up front because we do tours, but we can have open toes. Bet. We're so excited. I think people overthink it and they're sitting at their desk and they're like, oh, should I buy them a knife set for Christmas, or should I give everybody a big bonus, or blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just walk around and say, hey, how's it going? How are you? What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Just even the little things, because I can tell you that if somebody walks in with a Diet Coke for me, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
We had a principal one time that would walk around every once in a while with a cart, and it was a coffee cart. And then he realized every time he came around, I never took anything. I don't drink coffee. It's like one thing I just don't, I love the smell. I don't like the way it tastes.
Same.
And so he started packing the cart with pops, and he'd give out a coffee or a Coke or a Diet Coke or a Sprite. And I'm like, thank you. Now, he was already doing something kind, right? But he adjusted it because he realized that he wasn't hitting every staff member.
Yeah.
Did it cost him a few extra bucks? Yeah, but it was minimal, and it just threw it into a routine he already did. If you're already walking to the copier, make it a point to stop by 2 desks on your way and say hello.
Yeah.
It's really not as big as we think it is. And there's a lot of things that we do that are $0
Yeah.
that our staff love. It's just people want to be loved and they want to be a part of a community. That's it. Point blank, that is a basic need for everyone. And so if you make them feel loved and part of a community, you're in. You're done.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. No, I think
if you suck at that, like my sister always says, she's like, that's not my thing. Okay. My sister doesn't like to be hugged, any of that. Okay. This is perfect for her because this is like affection digital style. Okay. I don't have to, and it's great for me because I can send sweet notes and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there because I'm getting busier. So I'm not getting to see my people as often.
Mm-hmm.
But for her, it masks that she doesn't like that. It's perfect. It works for everybody because it leans into whoever you are, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think one of the things is, we think about whether it is engaging your team or work-life balance or creating that workplace happiness. It's really about everyone is individual, and I said, like, I don't like to lump the generations. Everyone wants and needs different things. And it's really about finding out what the heck it is to allow that to happen. And, adding on to that, having those boundaries, like, well, yes, you can't have off every Friday, but you know what, when you've taken that PTO day, we're going to leave you alone unless something is on fire. So
I have threatened to fire people who call. I'm like, if you call so-and-so while they're on their vacation, I'll fire you.
I think that's
and
fair.
They're like, what? And I'm like, because when you're on vacation, I'm going to say the exact same thing. And these girls get nervous when, like the state comes for a visit. And that's fair. But it's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. It's not. And to be honest, if you're doing something that gets you shut down, you should have been shut down. Mm-hmm. You should be.
Yeah.
So don't call someone on their vacation to say we're getting shut down. You're still going to be shut down tomorrow.
If that's what happens,
let them go on vacation and leave them alone.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows that they're going to need it.
Yeah.
I can't.
All that's doing is just creating more stress and frustration. And again, really undermining the idea of creating this happy, collaborative workspace instead of being a place where you have worker satisfaction. It's just a bunch of like worker dread because, for a lot of these kinds of roles, when you are working with folks who actually have to physically show up to work and physically deal with clients, customers, small children, you need to be able to pull that away. You can't be on all the time. And especially if they are hourly employees, dear God, let them be on that beach. They are not getting paid for this. Yes. Let them drink that pina colada in peace.
For the love.
Yeah.
For the love. Leave them be. Leave them be. And here's the thing is, I know that I would be bothered if I were with my family now granted, I probably wouldn't be bothered to be honest, because I own a small business and I knew what it would be like. And I knew that I would get phone calls and I knew how that would go. Right. But as I've gotten older and I'm not green anymore, because it comes with time. At first, you want to be available to everybody all of the time. I'm committed. I want you to see I'm committed. I'm here 100%. And then, you're in it and you've shown that and you're like, okay, maybe people don't need to call me at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Maybe I could not answer that call. Maybe I could. And so as you balance those things out, I think that you realize that everybody deserves that space, that time. And it doesn't matter what part of, the hive you live in.
Yeah.
It's what makes it all run smoothly. And each person adds to that. And if we tick off Susie while she's on her vacation, then when you go on vacation, she's going to make sure to be sick.
Yeah. No. And what? I wouldn't blame her. I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. So this has been great. So as we wrap things up, first of all, super mega thank you. Such a pleasure to have you as our first guest. So if people want to follow up with you to learn more about Ruthann, to learn more about your schools, to learn more about your consulting, where do you want us to send them? Where should they go? Where can we find more Ruthann?
I don't know yet. I mean, we're going to so the book comes out next year.
Okay.
It was titled 100 Friends, but I'll be really honest with you, nobody needs 100 friends. And this is now currently called Infinite Friends.
Okay.
Because it's about opening the door to the possibility of infinite friends, right? That anyone could be your friend.
Yeah.
And it's about finding self-love through grace of yourself and others. And so that comes out next year. You should start seeing things on social media. And
love it.
But this has been so much fun. And this group, everything, I couldn't be paired with people who are more, in tune with what I hope the world transitions into. So.
Oh, Ruthann, I appreciate you so much. Thank you again for being here. And for everyone who is watching or listening, please be sure to check out the descriptions, the show notes, etc., because I will toss some links in there for all of the great places to keep up with Ruthann. So, you can learn more about all the awesomeness she's doing and maybe, keep an eye out for when that book comes out. Otherwise, though, this has been MustardHub Voices from the Frontlines. Thank you again for kicking it through our first episode. Like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, do all the good stuff. And looking forward to talking to y'all next time.